everyone and welcome. Today I'm going to show you all the books that I plan to read in July. Again, because I actually already filmed this video. I filmed this one and two others. First time ever that I was batch filming. I was so proud of myself. And then when I looked at all of the files on my laptop, I saw that I didn't have any sound. So I guess that this is just the universe trying to tell me that I shouldn't batch film. It's just not for me. But the July list is actually one that I'm quite excited for. I have a total of 6 books on my physical TBR and then 3 books that I want to listen to on audiobook. Now, the 6 books are all part of a buddy read or a read along. Some of them I am organizing myself together with some other booktubers, so those are of course on the top of my priority list. Others are organized by other people, but I do want to participate, so I will also try to make that work. Of the 3 audiobooks, one is part of a read-along, the other 2 aren't, but since I listen to audiobooks anyway, I wanted to add some on the list as well. Also, I do know that normally the audio/physical books are around 50-50. This isn't the case for July, because in July I have 3 weeks off. And most of the audiobooks that I listen to happen in the car when I'm driving from and to work. Of course, that will not be happening those 3 weeks, and I do think that I will have more time for physical books, because I do plan to have a goal for myself in each of the weeks and then up that goal a little bit every other week. So I will also vlog that, and I do hope that I will get to all 6 of these quite easily and then maybe 1 or 2 extra ones, but we'll see about that. Without further ado, let's get into the books. And the first one is actually the book of the month over on Steve's channel, but for June. However, they are going to do the discussion on July 6th, so this is definitely the first book that I will be picking up, and that is The Black-Tongued Thief by Christopher Buhlman. This is the first book in a series. I don't really know how long it's going to be. I imagine that it's going to be quite dark. Maybe that's just based on the cover, but it also talks about a thief that we're going to follow, and one day he targets a knight, and that wasn't really the plan. So I think that we're going to follow these 2 main characters. They also talk about a war with goblins who hunger for human flesh. So it's definitely some darker tone in this book. I'm quite excited for it. I actually heard mixed reviews, some people who absolutely love it, others who like grimdark and didn't like this one. So if anything, I'm curious to see what I will think of it. Next up, I'm going to try to read the book of the month over on Steve's channel again, but this time the one for July. I think that the discussion is set for the 15th/20th of July. I'm not completely sure, but that's why this will probably be the next book that I will pick up, and that is Beyond Redemption by Michael R. Fletcher. This one is one that I bought for my birthday, and then I saw that it was book of the month, so it was meant to be, I guess. And I'm so excited for this one because it sounds very interesting. In this world, you have people who are insane, but they can shape the reality based on their insanity, so it's some kind of very dark magic system. Also, you have a priest in this book who wants to control people, and he's going to pick a young boy and present him as the new messiah and try to control people that way. So if you know me, you know that I love it when religion is a part of books, and in fantasy books you're most of the time going to have some special kind of religious system, but when it's entwined in the plot, that's something that I absolutely love. So I think that I will definitely like this book, and if that's the case, then I have the second one in the series as well. So my hopes are very high for Beyond Redemption. Then the next one is a book that I'm buddy reading together with Lauren over at the Paperback Empire, and that one is Dune by Frank Herbert. Of course, this is a sci-fi classic, and I wanted to read it for the Expanding My Horizon series. Also, I know that the movie for this book comes out in October. The trailer looks amazing, but I know that once I've seen the movie, I will not come back to the book. So I definitely wanted to read it before October. A lot of people said that it's dense, that it's difficult to get through, that there's a lot of political intrigue, and because of that, I wanted to read it as a buddy read, so I'm quite glad that Lauren wanted to do so as well. I've also heard from a couple of other people that they want to join us. Of course, you are welcome. I think that most of the discussions will be happening over on my Discord, so if you want to read Dune in June with us, then definitely just jump along and come and talk about the book with us. Next up, one that I'm quite excited for because it's definitely a little bit different than those classics and pretty dark books that I have on the list next up to this one, and that is Phoenix Unbound by Grace Draven. This is a fantasy romance. I've heard a lot of great things from Grace Draven and all of her works, and I think that Stacy over at Stacy's All Booked is going to do a 24-hour readathon for this one, together with some other lovely ladies. So if you are interested in this one, then you can come and pick it up with us. I'm quite excited, and I have a feeling that I will love it anyway, because It just sounds like something that I will like in between all of those heavy hitters. So yeah, Phoenix Unbound is the next one on the list of all the physical reads that I have. And then the next ones are for read-alongs that I'm co-hosting, so these ones are definitely top priority. And the first one is The Tower Lord by Anthony Ryan. This is the second book in the Raven's Shadow trilogy. I read Bloodsong last year, absolutely loved it. I did a reread this month because in June we were going to read Bloodsong, the first one, for the read-along. I'm of course hosting this read-along together with Steve over at Steve Talks About Books and Stuff, but also Epic over at Epic Tales. After my reread of Bloodsong, I immediately realized why I loved it so much. And after reading it 2 times, I think it's really time that I hop on to the next one, which is The Tower Lord, the second one in the trilogy. I've heard that it's quite different. In the first one, we follow Valen, who is some kind of warrior. He tells his story to somebody else from when he was a child up to the point where he is at that point in the book. And I just loved it. I know that this book isn't really centered around Valen anymore, but I also liked the world building quite a lot. So I think that I will still enjoy it, but I'm quite interested just to see what I think about it. Then the other one is, of course, Ruin, the third book in The Faithful and the Fallen. So this is a read-along that I'm co-hosting together with Steve as well. I read Malice, I read Valor. I do have the spoiler-filled discussion of Valor on my channel together with Steve and some other amazing booktubers, so definitely check that out if you have already read Valor. I like both of those books. I've heard that Ruin is even better, so I mean, of course I'm going to be excited. This is definitely a chunker. It's 750 pages, so I do need to make sure that I start with this one on time. Next up we have the audiobooks, and I'm going to start with the one that's part of a read-along. I think that this read-along is being hosted by For Booking Out Loud, and that is for the Poppy War. We are going to read the third book in July, which is The Burning God. So the Poppy War was amazing, the Dragon Republic was amazing, that ending. So I'm quite excited and very curious to start The Burning God and see what's happening here. I've heard from a lot of people that they didn't like The Burning God or how the trilogy concluded, and I've heard from a lot of people that they actually did enjoy it a lot. So if anything, I want to see for myself. Then we have the third book in the Tawny Man trilogy by Robin Hobb. If you know me, you know that Robin Hobb is one of my favorite authors. I love The Realm of the Elderlings, and the Tawny Man trilogy is one of my favorite trilogies at this point, even though I haven't read the last one yet. I read Golden Fool last month, which is the second book in the series, and this is my favorite book of the entire Realm of the Elderlings, so I'm quite excited to see if the third one tops that. It's definitely a bigger book. I think in Dutch it's almost 800 pages, and that font here is tiny, so I am quite sure that it's even bigger in English. So this will be probably an audiobook of 30 plus hours, but I'm excited for this one. These are the audiobooks that I actually listen to in the house as well, and not only when I'm sitting in the car, because I'm so invested in the story and I want to know more that I'm just cleaning. Even if it's just for 10 minutes, I will listen to the audiobook. So this is why I will get to this even if I'm just sitting at home and not having to drive to work. And then the last audiobook that I have on my TBR, this is one that I might get to, I will try to, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And that is The Bone Maker by Sarah Beth Durst. If you've seen my review of Raise the Sands by her, you know that I love that book. That was also a fantasy standalone. This is as well. And in that one, you followed a mother. Now, especially in the last couple of years, you have more fantasy books that feature a mother as a main character, but it's definitely not something that's common, and I quite enjoyed that. In this one, you follow a widow who is going to try to get back her lost husband using bone magic. So again, a very unusual main character and a very interesting premise. I think I will like this one. Raise the Sands I listened to on audiobook and read a couple of chapters as well, I think. I switched back and forth. I think I will do maybe the same thing with this one, and my hopes are high. If I like this one as well, I will definitely jump into her trilogy and see what that is about. So those are all of the books that I plan to read in July. Please let me know if you've read any of these and what your thoughts on these were, and which books you have on your TBR for July that you are quite excited about. As always, I hope that you enjoyed the video, and see you next time. Bye!